Author and director of the documentary Hillary's America, Dinesh D'Souza, joins me now with more. All right, Dinesh, talk about what Donald Trump needs to do in this next debate.
He's probably in the position of a fighter who's behind on points, and it would be good for him to go for a knockout. He needs to throw to Hillary the kind of questions that have the chance of dropping her to the canvas. We saw in the second debate that she is not that well equipped when she moves out of familiar territory. So he needs to, and he has the guts to do it. He's probably one of the very few Republicans who does. So I think he needs to go for it, and I have a couple of ideas of how he can do that.
Well, what's interesting is that everybody knew that because it was a town hall, it was a different setting, that he had an advantage because he's a people person. And what's interesting is she is actually in New York set up a studio, which is the exact setup of what the debate hall will be like on Wednesday night. And it's a moderator again, more her comfort zone. So what do you think that he should do? What should he ask her?
He should turn to her and pose questions directly to her, and I'll suggest one right now. He should say something like, look, Hillary, I mentioned the last debate that you and Bill went from $0 to $300 million on a government salary. Now, you didn't invent the iPhone. You didn't start a business. So what product were you selling to enable you to get so rich? Isn't it a fact that the product that you are actually selling is U.S. government policy? And doesn't that make you the most corrupt Secretary of State and possibly the most corrupt president we've ever had?
And so when she says, well, my husband was making money giving speeches, what do you say?
Then he says, well, Hillary, Bill's speaking fee was $150,000 in line with all the other presidents. But the moment you became Secretary of State, his speaking fee quadrupled to the $500,000 to $750,000 range for a 20-minute speech. Do you think people were actually paying your husband to give his usual pablum and rubbish? No. This was a kind of a bribe, a down payment on something that they wanted you to do. And very often you did it. And then tens of millions of dollars float to your foundation in appreciation. Isn't that the pattern that we've seen again and again and again? Do you deny it?
What if Hillary Clinton wins? She's ahead now, but you know what? This is such a volatile election, and I truly believe that anything can happen in the next 23 days, unlike any other presidential campaign. What would America look like if she were to win?
I think we will see a redefinition of the meaning of the word ladders of opportunity. I came as an immigrant to America because America offers ladders of opportunity that the guy at the bottom can climb. In Hillary's America, the ladder of opportunity is how close you are to Hillary. What have you done for Hillary? It's a little bit like the opening scene in The Godfather, where you have to kiss the Godfather's ring to get ahead. That's Hillary's America. It's a more gangsterized America. It's more like what you see in countries like Venezuela and India, which are run by gangs.
Well, you know, in your movie, Hillary's America, and your book as well, and I've read and seen both, the idea of not actually working, but taking the Saul Alinsky model and having everyone else work, and then you kind of reaping the benefits, is kind of a frightening concept, but also the Constitution being brushed by the wayside.
Yeah, I think for these people, politics is a way to make it, to get rich, to sort of loot the treasury. Think of what Al Capone wanted to do in Chicago. He wanted to loot the treasury, give contracts to his buddies. He wanted to walk into the big Chicago stadium, have the whole crowd shouting, "Big Al, Big Al, Big Al." That's what the Clintons want. That's their vision of America, with themselves as a sort of idolatrous heads of it.
And then the middleman, us, we lose out.
We do.
All right, Dinesh D'Souza, so good to have you here. And still ahead, allegations flying on both sides. So how do Christians choose between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton? We're going to talk about that. And next.
There was no infidelity. I could care less about infidelities. This was a crime.
Bill Clinton's accusers sit down with me to explain why they're afraid of the ramifications of another Clinton president. Insulted? More than that, I'm angry. How dare you trash anyone's religion? How dare you show the bigotry that our Constitution
protects? Thank God we heard it. Thank God we heard it. Look, I wanted to mention that this book, If You Can Keep It, is about keeping the republic. And I talk about it for about 200 years. It seemed to be working. We were governing ourselves. And in the last 30 or 40 or 50 years, we haven't been learning the basics of why we're a great country and how liberty, self-government, actually works. So we haven't been governing ourselves for the last 30 or 40 or 50 years. And I say that America is over unless we start doing this. And when I say this, at the very heart of it is religious liberty. Hillary Clinton is the #1 enemy of religious liberty.
You know what's interesting about this is 6 months ago, when you and I were at the National Religious Broadcasters Convention in Nashville, you weren't sure about Donald Trump.
Right.
And now to hear you say this is stunning.
Well, look, here's the issue. People act like there's a third choice, right? People say, oh, I'm going to vote my conscience. You mean you're going to vote for Hillary Clinton? If you do not vote for Donald Trump, people need to be clear. You're on the hook no matter what. If you vote for Trump and he turns out to be a bum, you're on the hook. If you don't vote and Hillary gets in and she turns out to be what I know she's going to be, you're on the hook. There are plenty of people who say, I'm going to sit this one out. I'm going to be on principle.
Oh, that's so
I mean, listen,
ridiculous.
today, I just want to tell you, today I was jogging through Harlem, okay? I run up there and I'm looking at the poverty. I'm looking at these people and I'm thinking, if you love these people, you have to vote for somebody who's going to give them jobs, who actually is going to give them hope. You owe it to those people, right? And when I say those people, I'm talking not just people in the inner city in America, but people all around the world will be affected by who is our president. If you don't vote or you throw your vote away with Gary Johnson or Evan McMullin or whoever, you're going to, what I say in my Wall Street Journal article is that you are going to be responsible. God will hold you responsible. You have to make a choice.
Eric Metaxas, always good to see you.
Great to
and have
see
you
you
on this show.